What's up, YouTube? My name is Bigboysnacksjonnytv, aka What Kind of Snacks You Want, because I got plenty to go around. And this is my AEW Dynamite review on highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please go watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more wrestling content that I do on the channel. And follow my social media down below in the description. And go check out my WWE NXT review on highlights that I posted on the channel yesterday. And let's get started. Now, AEW Dynamite was a boring show, but there were some good matches for what it was. It says AEW Dynamite was live from Detroit, Michigan, um, Temple Theater. All right, a new intro video with "You Want War" by Psalm 41 in 2025 bring us to ringside where Hangman Adam Page makes his entrance. The fans love seeing him, but as Hangman Page speaks, as he as he says he as he says he has been questioning why they would cheer for him. This is interrupted by a cowboy you know what chant, to which Page says it does make a difference. So thank you. He should not have said it. But the past 2 years has been some kind of special you know what. After what happened to him and his family, he wanted revenge and justice, and he found it. He took he took from another man his hopes and dreams and nearly killed him. After their cage match, he stood on the ramp, thinking he found some sort of joy and peace, and found nothing. For one moment, he thought if he could get back in the ring and finish the job, he would be happy, but he couldn't. And the truth is, he doesn't know why. He thought taking his anger out on those who get close would help, but it did nothing. So he had to make a decision. He mentions his rival by name Swerve Strickland, prompting whose house? Swerve's house from the crowd. Page says he will never forget what he did to him, and he will probably never forgive, but he will have to put it behind him. He talks about entering the Owen Hart Cup tournament, advancing after wins over Johnson Alexander and Kyle Fletcher. The final stop on his journey sees him taking on the man they call the best wrestler in the world today, Will Ospreay. This brings out the man himself, a big pop for Will Ospreay. As he heads to the ring, chant from the crowd and indicate it is Will Ospreay's birthday, and Will Ospreay addresses his opponent with double or nothing. So happy birthday to Will Ospreay. He says it's a pleasure to finally meet the Hangman, but also apologize as he understands how much the match means to Page. One of his favorite moments is when he took the Misfits known as the Dark Order and gave them a leader with the support, helping him become AEW World Champion in a moment that was perfect. But after he lost it, everything changed. Will Ospreay gets it. It's been a rough couple years for Hangman and Page. Last week, Will Ospreay and everyone else saw something from Page. After he beat Kyle Fletcher, something we haven't seen in a while. We saw Adam smile. Will Ospreay talks about everyone wanted to see Page rise back up, but he has one problem. And with that, at double or nothing, Will Ospreay is not losing. He addresses what Page did to Jeff Jarrett, Christopher Daniels, and Swerve Strickland, saying Will Ospreay has been handling all the media and other jobs that Page hasn't. He calls the Hangman out by saying this is not about his redemption, but Will Ospreay's ascensions. The two stand no smells arguing with no mic between them when the Don Callis family shows up on the stage. Don Callis runs down Will Ospreay for leaving his family through. He is nearly drawn out by the crowd booing him as Don Callis asks Will if he knows who he stands in the ring with Colin Page, a Scopath. Yeah, Scopath. This angers the Hangman, but Will Ospreay holds him back, and he calls for Don Callis to pick any two of his men to face their pair. He struggles to get through this in part because of the crowd giving out the Don Callis. And then when Hangman Adam Page grabs his hand in retaliation, Don Callis takes advantage of the tension by accepting the offer, suggests that Hangman Page might have another mental breakdown in the process. The family walks away as Page and Will Ospreay exchange some words to each other before Hangman leaves the ring. This was a nice segment to kick off AEW Dynamite. Nice opening segment here. A good heated exchange between Page and Will Ospreay before the Don Callis family interrupts. I also like the tensions mounting between Hangman Page and Will Ospreay as they look to face the family in tag action. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. But Will Ospreay needs to take the title off of John Moxley because John Moxley is killing AEW with the AEW World Champion. So Will Ospreay has to win the Owen Hart Cup to go up against John Moxley. So I already knew that Will Ospreay is going to take the AEW World Champion off of John Moxley. Watch I tell you, because it's going to happen. All right, let me move on. Commentary runs down the lineup for tonight as well as preview Beach Break before Stokely Hathaway and FTR arrive to the booth to talk to Tony Schiavone. After recent remarks and action on Collision, Stokely Hathaway runs down Tony Schiavone, who cuts him off before Cash Wheeler tells him to relax. They turn their attentions to Daniel Garcia ahead of a match set for Collision tomorrow night, with Dax Harwood closing things by telling Tony Schiavone to tell Nigel McGuinness they see him tomorrow night. Top guys out. Backstage, NRJ gets a bit of hype from Harley Cameron ahead of the Women's World Title Eliminator match. Tendency and aggression are the keys to success here among other things, if I'm to understand correctly. Always with that, we head back to ringside. Tony Storm makes her way out for our next match, followed by Thunder Rosa and Penelope Ford. Rounding out the competitors is NJ before this match gets underway. So we get the AEW Women's World Title Eliminator Fatal 4-Way match. Tony Storm versus Thunder Rosa versus Penelope Ford and versus Anna Jay. And this match right here, this was a decent Fatal 4-Way match. All right, Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm watch Penelope Ford and Jay and Anna Jay go at each other in the corner. With that fight spilling to the outside as the champ goes at it with Thunder Rosa, who takes Tony to the ropes for a low drop kick covered by Thunder Rosa, but Penelope Ford breaks the pin. Tony Storm is out for Tony Storm is out of the ring as Penelope Ford and Thunder Rosa go at it, with Penelope Ford dodging a senton before sending her to the ropes. Drop kick to the back sends Thunder Rosa to the mat, but Anna Jay breaks up the pin that follows. Anna Jay hits a fury of offense on Penelope Ford for the cover, but Tony Storm stops the pin before landing some stumps and a Fisherman suplex, only for Penelope Ford to break the pin. Tony Storm gets sent to the outside, with Anna Jay following close behind, just as Ford hits a moonsault to drop on both of them. They raise their feet alongside Penelope Ford, only to be brought back to the floor, hard by a dive for Thunder Rosa, just as we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Penelope Ford and Tony Storm have returned to the ring and go at it before Thunder Rosa intervenes, forcing them out before NJ comes in for a near fall for on the former champ. The action spills to the outside as Thunder Rosa hits a DDT, taking NJ down. But they and Tony Storm find themselves a victim of a big dive from Penelope Ford. The action returns to the ring with a chain of corner splashes before Tony Storm hits a running hip attack and then offering herself as a base for a running dropkick from Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm look for a suplex on Penelope Ford as Megan Bang make her way to the ring, taking advantage of the no disqualification stipulation of this match by laying into Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa. NJ fights back fights back before being attacked by Penelope before allowing Megan Bain to hit a set-up powerbomb. Harley Cameron comes out for the save with a pipe using it as an equalizer as she sends Megan Bain up the ramp and to the back. Back in the ring, Penelope Ford connects with a death lock on NJ before Tony Storm breaks it up with a nasty kick down low, followed by a chicken wing crossface forcing Penelope Ford to tap out. The winner by submission, Tony Storm. This was a decent fatal four-way match. Tony Storm celebrates giving a high five to Donna Rosa as commentary talks about what's to come later tonight before we go to commercial break. All right, let's move on. So we go to commercial break. Back at ringside where CRU can be seen getting to their seats before the Hurt Syndicate make their way out to chant "We Hurt People" by the fans in Detroit. MVP gets a microphone to make an official announcement from the Hurt Syndicate, introducing Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley to a pop from the crowd as he remains us. They are the AEW World Tag Team Champions. He asks for all the best tag team to face and try to take the titles away from the Hurt Syndicate. And out comes Top Flight. They address their struggles as of late before saying they look at they look at this as an opportunity. Hurt Syndicate likes to hurt people, and they know how to get back up from being hurt. They know they're underdogs in this fight, but they're also knowing they can't hold their own against the top teams in this business. They ask if the Motor City wants to see a miracle, but MJF blindsides them instead. He lays into Dante and Darius, sending them into the steps and ring post respectively. The crowd recognizing what this is chant "We Hurt People" as MJF continues to "We Hurt Top Flight." He hops onto the apron, staring Bobby Lashley down as he enters the ring. MVP hands MJF the mic, and MJF declares that he hurts people to a big pop from the crowd. Bobby Lashley takes the mic from him. The crowd still chanting "We hurt people" as the Almighty smiles at MJF before telling him he ha- he'll have an answer next week. These get boos from the crowd as MJF music hits, allowing him to leave up the ramp as the Hurt Syndicate locks on. I feel a little bad for Top Flight, but this was a good segment to further build up the situation between MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. Am at least curious to see what answer Bobby Lashley gives next week. This was a good segment. That's all I gotta say. By the Hurt Syndicate and MJF. We go backstage where the Elite address their opponents in the trios match later before Okada tells Kevin Knight good night, you know what, before walking off. Ricochet confirms that he can't help the Bucks solve the Swerve Strickland problem tonight, and he leaves. Just as we see the Death Riders waiting for the EVP inside the dressing room. Inside their dressing room. Meanwhile, it seems the Death Riders want to have some words with the Young Bucks, and boy howdy, am I unsure how I'm gonna feel about this. LOL, the time to play play the see this play out card. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. We head back to ringside as Nick Wayne is accompanied by the Pantry, and set to face someone from Christian Cage pass up next. So we go to commercial break. We're back at ringside as Justin Roberts introduced the challenger, and it's Rhino, big pop from the Detroit crowd as the former ECW champion enters the ring. And this match is for the Ring of Honor World Television Champion as the bell rings. So we get the Ring of Honor World Television Champion Nick Wayne defends against Rhino, and this was a squash match. Rhino gets the upper hand on the champ quickly before forcing him to the outside for a breather and a word of advice from the Partry. He gets back in the ring, turning things around by sending sending the War Machine to the corner for some stumps. Chinlock by Nick Wayne. But Rhino gets back to his feet before he pulled down to the mat by his hair. Nick Wayne mocks the crowd before going for a standing moonsault, and Rhino evades, getting to his feet, sending the champ to the ropes and then the corner. He pulled him away for a suplex, slamming the champ to the mat before Cage tries to intervene, but it's all for nothing as Rhino catches Nick Wayne with a big spine buster for a near fall. Despite this, the champ managed to evade a gore attempt before landing a kill switch on Rhino for the win to retain. The winner by pinfall is still your Ring of Honor World Television Champion Nick Wayne. This was a squash match. Tensions continue to mount between Nick Wayne and Christian Cage as the party plays tug of war with the champ and his title before eventually refusing to put the title around his prodigy waist. Prodigy's waist from there was cut to footage of recent developments from Collision surrounding Rush, who issued a warning to Kevin Knight. Good match aside from a slightly clunky finish, and more than anything, it was just kind of cool seeing Rhino hear a nice pop from Detroit crowd for sure. Big focus on the issue between Nick Wayne and Christian Cage post match. Okay, post match. I'm sorry. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. But Nick Wayne needs to turn on Christian Cage at this point. And that's all I gotta say. Back at ringside, Mark Briscoe makes his way out for our next match. This is followed by Mike Bailey and Swerve Strickland before Ricochet and the Young Bucks make their entrance to get this match out of the way. So we get an all-star trios match. The Young Bucks, Matthew Jackson, Nicholas Jackson, and Ricochet versus Swerve Strickland, Mike Bailey, and Mark Briscoe. And I ain't gonna lie, this was a this was a fun tag team match. We start off with Swerve Strickland and Ricochet, with Swerve getting the upper hand before attacking in Speedball, who gets a near fall in the process. Ricochet turns things around with an assist from the Young Bucks before sending and entering Swerve Strickland into a kick from the Young Bucks. Chaos ensues as the trio gets the jump on Mark Briscoe as well, standing tall in the ring before their opponents gets up. The Young Bucks and Ricochet make a quick escape. The Young Bucks leave Ricochet alone on the apron for a boot that sends him to the floor. It all ends in a dive from Bailey for Mike Bailey's Swerve Strickland and Mark Briscoe onto the Young Bucks and Ricochet. The action returns to the ring with Mike Bailey tag and Mark Briscoe for a double team on Ricochet before Mark Briscoe gets sent through the ropes to the outside. Swerve Strickland comes running in but gets dropped by Ricochet as the Young Bucks lay out Mark Briscoe and they and then Mike Bailey. Chaos ensues once more until Ricochet hits a big 450 splash on Mark Briscoe as we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Ricochet lays into Mark Briscoe before sending him into the ropes, only to take in insecurity that allows Mark Briscoe to tag in Speedball. Um, Matthew, um, um, Matthew tags in as well, but faces a fury of offense from Mike Bailey, who gets a 2 count. Nicholas Jackson tries to intervene when Mike Bailey goes up top, but he takes a Hurricanrana, sending him onto Matthew Jackson on the floor. Action returns to the ring as Mike Bailey gets to the cover, but Ricochet breaks up the pin. A whirlwind of offense from all 6 men ends with a house call from Swerve Strickland onto Matthew Jackson, forcing the vanities of this match out of the ring to a AEW chant from the crowd. Mike Bailey reaches for a tag to Swerve Strickland, but is cut off by the Young Bucks, only for Speedball Mike Bailey to fight his way to tag Swerve Strickland is in and goes off on the Young Bucks, goes going up top for an uppercut, and then Gritty for a good measure. Ricochet tries to intervene, but he's sent right back out of the ring. And Swerve Strickland hits a double suplex on the Young Bucks before countering a hurricanrana from Ricochet. Backstabber, backbreaker on backbreaker on Matthew Johnson as Mark Briscoe and Mike Bailey run tandem tandem on him. Froggy Ball connects from Mark Briscoe as Swerve Strickland gets the cover, but Nicholas Johnson breaks up the pin just in time. Chaos spills to the outside as Swerve Strickland goes for a house call on Matthew Johnson, only for the EVP to sneak a small package to get the win. The winner of pinfall, the Young Bucks, but Matthew Johnson, Nicholas Johnson, and Ricochet. Um, this was a fun tag team match. I'm starting to go we get it TK at these All Star tag matches, but the matches seem to always deliver. In this week's trios match, it's no different. Fun action here with a sneaky win for the Hills. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. They retreat up the ramp to celebrate as we go backstage, where when Paquette talks to Will Ospreay to talks about the tag match set for next week. Will Ospreay is interrupted by MJF, who makes an AEW shop shield before talking about wanting to see Will Ospreay win the Owen Hart and go on to get his AEW World Championship at All In Texas. Will Ospreay mocks MJF by suggesting he is afraid to face him again, but MJF insists that he wants to prove that that ain't nobody on the level of the devil, only for Will Ospreay to remind him that he is on another level. With that, MJF walks off as we go to commercial break. So we go to commercial break. Alright, we go backstage for a sit down interview with Jamie Hayter, who talks about what this match means for her. She runs down Mercedes Moné and her remark last week, calling the TBS champion the antithesis of what Owen Hart stands for. She wants to know the woman behind the hype. She also talks about feeling insulted by Mercedes Moné, saying she reminds her of herself, admitting Jamie Hayter doesn't have the same star power, but she does have legit have, but she does integrity grit the truth. This is about showing Mercedes Moné that she is not unstoppable. Jamie Hayter pulls away from addressing her past back issue, but is soon interrupted by Mercedes Moné attacking her from behind. They fight out of the room as we head back to ringside. And sure enough, we found them duking it out in the box seat. Mercedes Moné runs away, heading to the ramp before managing to dodge a hitter tra- tra- trade trade to escape to the back. Jamie Hayter's music hits, but not for long as Mercedes Moné blindsides her before locking in a statement maker. Officials rush down to break it up, with Mercedes Moné finally break the hold before posing with the On Hard Cup trophy. The interview with Jamie Hayter was alright, but I prop more for the brawl between her and Mercedes Moné. After especially Mercedes Moné faking Jamie Hayter out to get the statement maker locked in. LOL. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. That backstage interview with Jamie Hayter was just alright for what it was. Alright. Backstage. Once more, this time hearing from Willow Nightingale as she addressed the Death Riders before Chris Allen approaches her. The issue they had in the past bubble back up as Willow Nightingale refused to address it directly, but she does offer a challenge to Chris Statlander for a match on Collision tomorrow night, to to which Chris Statlander accepts. Back at ringside, yeah, back, back at ringside, Kazuchika Okada makes his entrance for our next match. Kevin Knight's music hits as the Jet comes out next. but it's blindsided by Rush. Rush attacks Kevin Knight, sending him into the barricade before making his exit. Speedball runs down to check on him, but Kevin Knight insists he's good to go, and Mike Bailey is told to leave ringside per the per the rules before this match gets underway. So we get the AEW Continental Title Eliminator match. Kazuchika Okada versus Kevin Knight. And this match right here, this was a um this was a solid match. This was solid. Not very good, but solid. Okada takes advantage of the damage done to Rush to get a set of near falls early on, but Kevin Knight shows his technique um, 10 City each time by managing to kick out. Kevin Knight crawls to the corner where the champ mocks him with some boots to the face, but Kevin Knight managed to fight back with some right hands in the center of the ring. He charges at Okada in the corner, but is forced to the outside by the champ as we go to commercial break. Back from commercial break, Kevin Nash has finally taken control of the match as he stumps the champ in the corner, but Okada fights back before being dropped to the mat as Kevin Knight gets a 2 count. Okada gets to the corner for a boot to the face of Kevin Knight, who responds with a leaping hurricanrana, helping him get another close near fall over the champ. Okada counters back for a backbreaker and a body slam before going up top for the elbow drop. He flips the crowd off before setting Kevin Knight up for a Rainmaker lariat, but Kevin Knight cradles him for a near fall. Another close near fall follows that the Jet gets a kick to the face of the champ before climbing up for a UFO splash onto the knees of Okada. Kevin Knight dodges a dropkick before absorbing some damage from the champ for a dropkick of his own. But Okada responds with an anti-air and a Rainmaker lariat for the win. The winner by pinfall, Kazuchika Okada. The champ celebrates by laying in another Rainmaker on Kevin Knight before Mike Bailey runs in to stop Okada from inflicting any more damage. Okada escapes up the ramp with his title as we cut backstage. I was a little let down by Kevin Knight versus Okada, but I think that is a largely just a result of the pre-match attack by Rush. I get what they were going for through and beyond. That is what a good match through and through. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. It was a solid match. I might as well say that was a solid match by itself. Don Callis and his family want to raise the stake after RPG Vice were intentionally set to face Page and Will Ospreay, telling the Hangman and Will Ospreay to get 2 more guys alongside the family as a promising bad things will happen for the pair from their commentary hypes collision tomorrow night, and next week's Beach Break shows confirming that Paige and Will Ospreay will face the Don Callis families Kanuska Takeshita and Josh Alexander. Up next is our main event as Samoa Joe faces Claudio Castagnoli, and we go to commercial break. So we go to commercial break. We cut backstage where Bobby Lashley is asked to give us a response now instead of next week. But the Hurt Syndicate has brought in legal counsel, and they will head his advice. He speaks and they listen. He speaks and they listen. With that, they walk off and we cut away. All right. Yeah, why knowing I'm not why no I'm not one of backstage. I'm sorry. I know I'm not one for backstage relationship speculation. If Alicia and MJF are dating, like I think I heard there were that like they make they make her asking Bobby Lashley to give his answer. Now funny now funny as you know what to me. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. Alright. There has been enough talk. It's time for our main event. Claudio Castagnoli makes his entrance first, using the elevator of the to venue to head to ringside through the crowd. Out next is Samoa Joe. The crowd chanting Samoa Joe gonna kill you as this match gets underway. So we get Samoa Joe versus Claudio Castagnoli. And this was a mid match. This match was mid. Claudio Castagnoli sends Samoa Joe to the corner to lay in some offense before the ref intervenes. He's back away and Samoa Joe locks up with him, sending Claudio Castagnoli to the corner this time, only to take a cheap shot as he backs off. Claudio Castagnoli goes after him, but soon but soon but soon gets locked into a computer computer Co, Co, what's her name? No, not what's her name. Kuna Clutch. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kokuna Clutch. Grabbing the ropes to force a break. The action spills to the outside as Samoa Joe sends Claudio Castagnoli to the barricade, but Claudio Castagnoli turns it around, looking for a running lariat on the man who took the trio's titles from him and his crew. This is met with a big range from Samoa Joe, sending Claudio Castagnoli to the floor. But the action returns to the ring. Claudio Castagnoli catches him, however, laying in some chops in the corner, only for Samoa Joe to counter eventually, hitting a running cigarette on Claudio Castagnoli. He sets Claudio Castagnoli up for a muscle buster, but Claudio Castagnoli fights him off, dropping his arm onto the top rope as we go to an commercial break. Alright, it says, we're back from commercial break. Claudio Castagnoli taken has taken control back in the ring as he gets a sleeper hold on Samoa Joe, who fights back for a power slam and for a near fall. Samoa Joe continues to lay in the damage as the crowd cheers for him, but Claudio Castagnoli forces him away and hits a lariat for a 2 count of his own. Claudio Castagnoli looks to set up for a neutralizer, but instead hits the ropes for a springboard uppercut. He looks to set up a giant swing, but Samoa Joe breaks away to lock in a Kokuna Clutch, and Claudio Castagnoli taps out immediately. The winner by submission, Samoa Joe. This was a mid match. This was a mid main event match. What it was. This is mid. All right, no time for celebration. However, as the Death Riders look to go after Samoa Joe until Powerhouse Hobbs runs down with a chair, this forced John Moxley, Maurice Fair, and Wheeler Yuta to back away as the Powerhouse makes an example out of Claudio Castagnoli, but by slamming the chair against his back before handling it over to Samoa Joe. He mocks the Death Riders from the turnbuckle before Samoa Joe holds Claudio Castagnoli up to slam him onto the prop up chair. The crowd chants Samoa Joe's name. The world champion is staring him down ahead of their still cage title match next week on Beach Break as commentary runs down the coming week lineup to close the show. This was a good this was a good if slightly short main event. I did like the intensity Samoa Joe and Claudio Castagnoli both brought to the match. Sometimes a quick, clean finish comes off as a shock to me. But the thing I took away from this was the Kokuna Clutch ain't nothing to mess with. If if I may, perhaps. And AEW Dynamite goes off the air, but I just want to read this part. Overall, this was a pretty good episode of AEW Dynamite. Even some of the in-ring action didn't quite hit for me as it was some other weeks. Certainly keeping the ball rolling on the storylines going into Double or Nothing and beyond instead to see how next week's beach break plays out, and AEW Dynamite goes off there. All right, let me get my opinion what I think about AEW Dynamite. I'm just gonna be real. I'm just gonna be honest and tell you guys the truth about how I feel about AEW Dynamite. Now, AEW Dynamite was a boring show, but there were some good matches for what it was. Alright, if you guys enjoy my AEW Dynamite review on highlights, make sure you guys please watch the video from all the way from the beginning all the way towards the end. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more Western content that I do on the channel, because I'm on the road to 9K and become a YouTube partner for the very first time. So make sure you guys run my playlist for some watch hours, and follow my social media down below in the description. And I will be going live on Twitch to play some Fortnite, and that's all I gotta say. So I hope you guys will come to my live stream on Twitch for some Fortnite. You know what I'm saying? We're just having a good time. We're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna play Fortnite and I'm gonna interact with the chat on Twitch for interact with the Twitch on chat. So that's all I gotta say, man. It's nothing but good vibes on Twitch, man. And I'm on the road to 50 files over there on Twitch. So help me get to 50 files so I become affiliate over there on Twitch. And that's all I gotta say. Alright, and I will make a 3-minute YouTube short video of me showing you guys my thumbnail twice in that video, 1000% for proof. And that's all I gotta say. This your boy Bigboysnacksjonnytv. Have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang. Let me know down below in the comment section how you guys feel about AEW Dynamite tonight. Sign up down below in the comment section. What was your favorite match and your favorite moments and the worst moment of the night? Let me know that. Sign up down below in the comment section, and I will see you guys tomorrow live on Twitch for some Fortnite. And that's all I gotta say. This your boy Bigboysnacksjonnytv. Have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kids, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang. Mwah. Bang. Too sweet. Gang.